I'm going to show you how to make the large Statue of Liberty applique from Kreative Kiwi. For this I'm going to be using a 5x7 hoop, 2 layers of washaway stabiliser per hooping, and there are 3 hoopings, a selection of threads, all with matching bobbins as I'm going to make this reversible, some pins with heads on them, masking tape, my squizzers, and my fabrics and batting cut to size. You'll find a link to this design in the video description below. I've now got an announcement for you. We are going to do a giveaway, so if you would like a chance to win this design, just keep watching, as details on how to participate will be given later on in the video. We're going to start off by hooping our 2 layers of washaway stabiliser. So place your stabiliser over the outer hoop, insert the inside frame, and then we're going to pin around the top edge of our hoop so that it secures our stabiliser from being pulled down between the 2 hoop pieces. So take your pin, any pin with a head will work, rest it on top of your inside frame, push it through your stabiliser, bring it round and back through the stabiliser again, and that will anchor it. You're going to do that on all 4 sides. The larger your hoop, the more pins you will use. Load file 1 into your machine, which is the head and the arm and torch, along with your thread colour for the satin stitching. We're jumping straight to that, there won't be any colour changes. Then you're going to pop your hoop into your machine and stitch round number 1, and that's going to give you your placement outline for your batting, and I'm going with green. There won't be any thread colour changes in this hooping. I've slipped a piece of paper underneath my hoop so that you can see my outline, as I'm using quite a light green. You're now going to place your batting over the outline and secure it in place with some tape. Pop your hoop into your machine and stitch round number 2 to secure it. Trim away the excess batting from around the edge of the stitch line, taking care not to cut your stitches. We're now going to add our fabrics, both back and front of the hoop. If you're going to stitch this onto something, you don't necessarily have to add something on the back, or if you do, you can just make it a piece of muslin, something like that. But I'm making this completely reversible, so we're going to turn our hoop over, place our fabric over the outline, and tape it in place. And the same on the front. Pop your hoop into your machine and stitch round number 3 to secure them. Trim away the excess fabric from both back and front of the hoop, taking care not to cut your stitches. Turn your hoop over. Pop your hoop into your machine and stitch round number 4, and that's going to do the satin stitching detail. We're now going to free our work from the hoop, so turn your hoop over and trim around the edge, taking care not to cut any stitches. We're now going to trim up along here because this is going to be our join later on, so trim close to the stitch line without cutting any of the stitches. And that's our first hooping completed, and we can set our work aside for the minute. We're now going to do the second hooping, which is the bottom of the statue and the plinth that it sits on. So load file 2 into your machine along with your neutral bobbin and thread colour. Then you're going to stitch round number 1, and that's going to give you your placement outline for your batting, and I'm going with green. Again, I've placed a piece of paper underneath my hoop so that you can see my outline. Place your batting over the outline and tape it in place. Pop your hoop into your machine and stitch round number 2 to secure it. Trim away the excess batting from around the edge of the stitch line, taking care not to cut your stitches. We're now going to place our fabric for this area here, so turn your hoop over, place your fabric over the outline and tape it in place. Now do the same on the front. Pop your hoop into your machine and stitch round number 3 to secure them. We're now going to be adding our fabrics for the plinth, which is here. So turn your hoop over. I'm going to trim off some of this excess fabric. Place your fabric for this area here over the outline and tape it in place. We're now going to do the same on the front. Pop your hoop into your machine and stitch round number 4 to secure them. Load your thread colour for the word happy on the plinth into your machine and then stitch round number 5, and I'm using black. I don't advise having high contrasting bobbin and thread in your machine at the same time for when you do text, so I've put a matching black thread in so that it doesn't show in the stitching. Load your thread colour for the wording 4th of July into your machine along with a matching bobbin if needs be, and then stitch round number 6. and I'm staying with black. Okay, it's that oops moment when you realise that you've made a mistake, and this is my mistake. I should not have put my backing fabric on, because obviously the stitching shows through, and we're now going to add our backing fabric for this area here. So all I'm going to do is place another piece of fabric over the top and secure it in position, and carry on as if it hadn't happened. So we're now going to stitch round number 7, and that's going to secure our backing fabric in place. And I'm going to go with green again for this. We're now going to trim away all the excess fabric from both back and front of the hoop. So turn your hoop over and trim around the edge, taking care not to cut any of your stitches. Making sure that you've got your matching bobbin and thread colour for the satin stitching of the body of the statue loaded into your machine. You're now going to stitch round number 8, and that's going to zigzag all the raw edges of both the statue and of the plinth. Load your matching bobbin and thread colour for the satin stitching around the plinth into your machine, and then stitch round number 9, and I'm going with beige. We're now going to free this from the hoop, so turn your hoop over and trim around the edge, taking care not to cut your stitches. We're now going to trim up around the raw edge, because that's where our segment's going to join in the next hooping. So trim close to the stitch line, taking care not to cut the stitches. And that's this segment completed, and we can now set our work aside for the minute. We're now going to do the third hooping, so load file 3 into your machine along with your matching bobbin and thread colour for the statue of Lady Liberty into your machine, and then we're going to stitch round number 1, and that's going to give us our placement outline for our batting, and I'm going with green. Again, I've got a piece of paper underneath my hoop so that you can see my outline. We're now going to place our batting over the outline and tape it in place. Pop your hoop into your machine and stitch round number 2 to secure it. Trim away the excess batting from around the edge of the stitch line, taking care not to cut your stitches. We're now going to place our backing fabric, so turn your hoop over, place your fabric over the outline and tape it in place. Place your front fabric over the outline and secure that in place as well. Pop your hoop into your machine and stitch round number 3 to secure them. Trim away the excess fabric from both back and front of your hoop. So turn your hoop over and take care not to cut your stitches. We're now going to stitch round number 4, and that's going to do the zigzag stitching around here and down here, and it will stop when we come to join our first segment to the bottom here. We're now going to join segment 2 at the bottom here. So you're going to align this stitch line here on top of this stitch line here. And then we're just going to secure it in place. And I'm going to use a couple of pins and some tape. Make sure that you keep any pins right out of the way of the stitch line. And I'm just going to place some ordinary sellotape over here just to hold that point down. We're now going to pop our hoop into our machine and stitch round number 5, and that's going to zigzag along here and join the 2 segments together. So we're now going to join the top segment, and we're going to place this stitch line here on top of this stitch line here between where the zigzagging starts and stops, and secure it in place. And again, if you're using pins, make sure that you keep them right out of the way of the stitch line. And I'm just going to place a little bit of tape here and here just to hold those edges down. Pop your hoop into your machine and stitch round number 6, and that's going to zigzag along here and join the 2 segments together. So just check that you are happy with your join. If you are, you're now going to stitch round number 7, and that's going to do all the satin stitching to finish this segment. If you're not happy with it, then unpick the zigzag stitching, reposition your segment, secure it in place again, and then stitch round number 6 again. We're now going to stitch round number 7. So that's the stitching of our 3rd hooping completed, and I'm just going to remove this sellotape that I put on earlier. And by leaving it to the very end, the satin stitching just cuts its way through it, so there's very little in the way of resistance when you remove it. So we're now going to free this from the hoop, so turn your hoop over, and taking care not to cut any of your stitches or your segments underneath, you're now going to free this from the hoop. All that remains for us to do is to dissolve all the excess stabiliser from around the edge and from the back of these joins here. So take a cotton bud and some warm water, dip it in and just wipe it around on the edge and along the joins. And that's our Statue of Liberty completed. It's now giveaway time, so if you'd like to be in with a chance to win this design, leave me a comment below. A winner will be chosen at random on the 30th of June at 1800 hours Central European Time +2. The prize is loyalty points equivalent to the value of the design in this video, and they will be credited to the winner's Kreative Kiwi Embroidery account. The winner will be notified in the comments below and given details on how to claim their prize. Good luck! I hope you enjoyed this stitch along. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to be notified of new videos as soon as they're published. Do pop along to Kreative Kiwi's Facebook group. There's always lots of ideas, help and inspiration there for everybody. And thank you very much for joining me. You'll find a link to this design in the video description below, along with lots of other information such as where I get my supplies and some discount codes for you as well. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.